Terri. I'm Miss Dee at Pender County Library.
And I'm Miss Terri.
And today we are going to be doing a special program for our summer reading. It's called Scene Story, where we will be narrating a story and doing some science experiments along the way. And I'm going to start by telling a story about a young girl named Ava. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Ava, and she loved to build things. She loved to build things all the time. She was very, very crafty. She would build bird houses. She would build tree houses. She just loved to build. And one day when she was really enjoying building things, she just started building and building and building and building, and all of a sudden, she had built something grand. She had built something magnificent. She had built something fabulous. She had built her very own time machine. And she went up to her time machine, she opened the door, and she stepped inside. And it was very amazing. In her time machine, there were buttons all over the place. She had built such a wonderful time machine. So, she started to press all the buttons. She was pressing buttons on the side. She was pressing buttons on the other side. She was pressing buttons up high until there was a zap. There was a boom. There was a crash. There was a shh. And the ground started to shake. And then she realized that the time machine had made a stop. She looked around, and flying through the air, she saw a flying dinosaur. She saw a pterodactyl flying through the air, and it was beautiful. She also noticed that there was a magnificent sunset. So, because there was a sunset, we are going to create our own sunset today. And how we are going to do it is with a coffee filter, and I use some washable magic markers. Hi Amy, hi Ren, hi Tyler,
Hi
Evan, hi Landon, hi Emily, hi Kinsey.
Hi, Kinsey.
Thank you for joining us today. And there was a lovely sunset. So we're going to make a sunset today. Miss Terri has our spray can. Not on me, Miss Terri. Right on the coffee filter. And we're going to spray our coffee filter. And what's happening here
Ooh,
is we are looking at the process of diffusion. And diffusion is when particles from an area of high concentration go to an area of low concentration. And what happens when those particles diffuse? They spread apart. And look what's happening with our coffee filter. The colors have spread apart, and they have kind of melted into one another. We can see that right here. And you can make all sorts of designs. You can do that at home with the coffee filter and some magic markers. And I also have two more that we did. These are examples of the beautiful sunset that Ava saw when she arrived at the land of the dinosaurs. And that is diffusion, or when those particles are spreading apart, and that can happen with water, with liquids, gases, and even light. That can happen when the particles are spreading apart. So after she sees that beautiful sunset, she sees something else in the distance. She sees a huge dinosaur running. And this dinosaur is big and mean and green, and the dinosaur is running after her. And we're going to demonstrate Ava seeing the dinosaur run, and this is called a thaumatrope. And what it does is it actually merges two images together. So on the front of my index card, I have a dinosaur face, and on the back I have the little girl, which represents Ava running. And if you spin it really fast, it kind of looks like the dinosaur is chasing Ava. So it's actually blending the two images together in an optical illusion of sorts. Because the images are moving so fast, it blends them together. And it takes two images and combines them into one. That's an example of a thaumatrope. And you can make this very easily at home with two index cards, which you can staple together and tape a hard object. I have a pencil here, but you can use a hard straw or maybe anything that's long and kind of like shaped like this. You can use to make your own thaumatrope at home. And that's, again, two images blending together. And she saw that dinosaur chasing after her, and she got very afraid because she didn't know where to go. She did not know what to do. And then
That dinosaur was really, really loud and had really big, loud, stomping footsteps. Can you stomp like a dinosaur? Get up and stomp, stomp, stomp like a dinosaur. That dinosaur kept going right after Ava, stomp, stomp, stomping, until that dinosaur got tired and stopped to make a stomp rocket. And I'm going to show you how I made one of these stomp rockets, and then we'll try a dinosaur stomp right onto it. So let's try it out first. Here's my rocket. I have a straw inside one of these bags, and we just need to fill it up. It needs air pressure inside. You just blow it full of air. The air doesn't escape because the straw is blocking the hole, so the air is inside there. So when we release the air pressure, my glasses on here, just in case, it should force the air up through the straw and make the rocket fly. Let's try it. See what happens. I'm going to aim it right there. You can do this with your feet, but since we can't see our feet right now, we're doing it on the table. You can also do it with your hand. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and stomp. Oh, that one didn't work so well. Let's try it again. Let's see. Right there. 1, 2, 3, and there it goes. All right. So I wanted to tell you how to make one of these stomp rockets from things that you probably have at home already. You need one of these juice containers, and you need a flexible straw, some scissors, some tape, some colored paper, and that's about it. So the fun part is you get to drink the drink, and all the way out to the bottom empty. Take the straw that came with it and set it aside, and then get a flexible straw and snip off the end, just like that to make it sharp at the end. And then you have the empty bag, and you have a pointy straw, and you just insert it into the hole, like that. Then you have to make the rocket, and that's pretty simple too. You just get some colored paper and wind it around, just go like this with the paper around the pencil, make it nice and tight, and then clip it off and make a tube like this, and then you just tape it up. Make sure you cover this end with tape and leave the other end open. You can put some fins on it if you want to, tape those on like that. Just some paper and tape and scissors is all you need, but make sure you cover that end. And then you have a stomp rocket. And all you have to do, even if if it tears, the bag tears, you can tape it up. If send it, right towards the camera to see if that works. Ready? 1, 2, 3, stomp. All right. So that worked pretty well. That dinosaur stomped right on that stomp rocket and kept on going right after Ava. Stomp, 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 stomp. All the way to the mountains. These weren't just any mountains. These are red mountains. Big red mountains. And I'm going to see how big I can make our mountain before it falls. What is a tower's worst enemy? Anybody know? Gravity. If you said gravity, you're right. Gravity is what just pulled those down. So, I started out with a pretty small base, but if we make the base bigger, we might be able to make it a little bit taller. Let's try it out. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if that helps, where we can make this mountain even taller. So this is a little engineering activity that all you need is cups, red cups that you can get at the dollar store, or you might even have them at home or the grocery store. You can make it go as tall. This is a big red mountain. Okay. Let's see. Here comes the dinosaur. My rocket, there it is. Let me grab my rocket. And let's see what happened to it when the dinosaur came stomping by. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Let's see if our tower holds up. 1, 2, 3, and stomp. That dinosaur stomped that mountain right down, right through the red mountain went that dinosaur. Pretty cool, huh? Gravity folded down as well as the dinosaur. So the dinosaur was stomping around and went right through that red mountain and looked up and noticed clouds in the sky. It was starting to cloud up. Water was forming and turning into clouds. When water droplets, they grab onto things in the air like dust, pollen, things like that, and they form clouds. And they get heavier and heavier with the water droplets until, here's our cloud. Just using a little shading cream here. Down here. So there's our cloud. We are going to see what happens here when we put more and more water in here. So this food coloring could be our water. And when the clouds get so full and heavy, then what happens? Starts to rain. And small drops of rain are called drizzle. I think I made my cloud a little too thick. There it is. Okay. Small drops of rain are called drizzle. Look how pretty that is. Here's our rain. And small drops of rain are called drizzle, and big drops of rain are big raindrops. And here's an interesting fact. Drizzle falls more slowly than regular rain, and since it's much finer and smaller, and it takes about 700 drizzle drops to make one raindrop. 700 little drizzly drops to make one big raindrop. That is amazing. So that cloud got too heavy and down came the rain. And it rained upon Ava, and it rained upon the dinosaur, and the dinosaur got all wet and was whining a little bit and stopped stomping around for a minute, but then just got that rain, put on a raincoat, kept on going, and then the dinosaur starts picking up speed again, because the dinosaur has spotted Ava, and she's really scared. She's running because the dinosaur is coming after her, and she does not know what to do. And all of a sudden, it's not enough that she's running from a dinosaur, she's also scared because all of a sudden, the ground begins to shake. The ground begins to rumble. And she looks off in the distance, and she thinks she sees a great, big, giant, enormous volcano. And she's looking up, and she's so scared because the ground is rumbling. So what does that mean if the ground's rumbling and you see a great big volcano? What might happen? It might start to erupt. So we're actually going to create our own volcano today. And I have 2 volcanoes today. And these volcanoes, the way they're going to work is we're going to use Mentos candy. And Mentos candy is going to cause the release of gas from the beverage, which is going to cause an eruption that's going to push the liquid out from the bottle and up from the bottle, causing an eruption. And the carbon dioxide is going to form rapidly expanding gas bubbles, which is going to push the beverage all the way out of the container. So we have our volcanoes like the ones that Ava has seen in the distance, and she's very afraid. We're going to first put 1 Mentos in this volcano, and we're going to put 2 Mentos in this volcano to see if it makes any difference, because we're experimenting, we're seeing what happens. And that's the fun, part of the fun about science. So we've got our Mentos here, and we're going to see if we can make our own eruption occur. So we're going to open our soda beverage, and we are going to drop 1 Mentos inside. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Look at that. And that was pretty interesting. We're going to do another one, and this time we're going to do it with not 1, but 2 Mentos to see if we can also make another eruption. So we're going to get our Mentos ready. We're going to open our beverage. And we're going to put 1, we're going to put 2. Let's see what happens. Oh, cool. We got another eruption. And then the volcano is erupting, and Ava is super, how do you think she's feeling? I think she might be feeling afraid. There's a volcano erupting, the lava's coming, and it's flowing down, and it's flowing, and she's looking, and she's looking, and she's looking for her time machine. She needs to get out of here. She's so afraid. She's looking here for her time machine. She's looking there. Where's my time machine? And then all of a sudden, in the distance, she sees her time machine. So what does she start doing? She starts running and running and
but she's about to open the door and she notices that her time machine is covered with icky slime. And we're gonna make some slime today. Thank you, Miss Terri. So we're gonna use glue and liquid starch, and the glue is a liquid polymer, and that means that there's tiny molecules in the glue that are like strands on a chain. And when you add the liquid starch, the strands of the polymer glue are going to hold together, giving a slimy texture, a slimy feel. So we've got our glue, and we've got our liquid starch, and we've got our handy dandy spoons. And we are going to make see if we can make some slime today. So I've got my glue. And I've got my liquid starch. And I'm going to pour a little bit of that in. Got my spoon. And we're going to mix it together to see if we can experiment with our polymer. Yeah, we're mixing it together, and we've got some icky, some gooey slime. Our slime. Just like the slime that Ava was seeing all over her time machine. Her time machine was covered with icky, gooey slime. Just all over it, all over it. So, there we go, our slime. So, it's all covered in slime, so she's picking up the slime off the time machine, icky. She's picking off the slime here, icky and gooey. Finally, she's gotten off all the slime on the time machine, and she opens the door. She's trying to get the door open because the dinosaur is coming, and the volcano is erupting, and the lava is on its way. She's so afraid she doesn't know what to do. Finally, she opens the door. And she steps inside her time machine, she shuts the door, she starts hitting all sorts of buttons. Buttons over here, she hits buttons up high, she hits buttons over here, she's hitting buttons everywhere. She's trying to make this time machine go. And she's hitting buttons, and finally, poof, crash, bam, crash. The time machine has landed. Everything is quiet again. Everything seems nice. She looks out the time machine. She doesn't see that same sunset anymore. She doesn't see any pterodactyls flying in the air. No, she sees the woods by her home. So she gets out of the time machine. She steps out into the woods by her home. She sees her house in the distance. And she walks over to her house. She opens the door. She shuts it. And she is so happy she is home. And that is the end. She made it all the way back home, and she is once again happy. That is the end of the story. Thank you, everyone, for watching us here on Pedro County Library. And stay tuned for more of our special summer reading programming events.
What's next week at 2 o'clock, Miss Dee?
We have coming up, we have a storytelling program, and you can go on to our Facebook page and you can vote to find out what is going to happen in the final story. You can vote to see what happens.
That sounds cool. Oh, there's McKenna. Hi, McKenna. Thanks for joining us.